Yeah, I think compared to the 2010 elections, although there were already a lot of engagements in social media at that time, parang now social media has not just been a platform, but it's a place in which people live. It's a place where people not just say what they want to say, but it's a place where they create their own realities.
I think in terms of the number of people who were directly engaged, not just getting information online, but actually making their views felt, was very, very high in this election compared to the previous two ones.
Compared to the 2010 and 2013 elections, we can say that social media have been maximized by the candidates either for good reason or for not so good reasons.
I would say that in the previous elections, people were getting information but were not engaged.
What's particularly interesting and different in this election is the increased credibility and currency of alternative blogs as sources of information. So I think malaki ang impact nun sa journalism din, na parang it's now a competing reality compared to the traditional forms of media that we have.
The so-called traditional media, they need to package their information much better. And of course, not to the point of trivializing the information, but rather making it more understandable to people. We have to go back to the basics in journalism. And sometimes when it comes to accuracy, we only talk about, we are more preoccupied with factual accuracy. What we miss out would be the contextual accuracy. We have to combine both. The report that we have should be both contextual and factual in terms of accuracy.
First, the good news is that engagement has increased. The bad news is that a lot of people say that the engagement was very toxic. It was there were a lot of very angry people online, a lot of bashing, and a lot of intentional misinformation being put online by a lot of people.
Close to half of Filipinos have access to at least one social media platform, be that Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. So that actually democratized the access to information, but that also allowed certain groups to frame the dissemination of information.
Before, you think of social media as generating support for your candidacy, but in this election, you can see how social media was used to go against fellow candidates or to use social media to attack other candidates. So this might be a template that future candidates and their hunters would think about.
I think in the next elections, when the penetration of social media usage continue to increase in the Philippines, so maybe 50 to 60% or majority of Filipinos may access to this. More and more people would be able to get information through their cell phones anytime of the day, and more people are able to add information regarding what candidates do, whether that's tuwag na daan or whatever it's that. They can post that in social media, and it will shape the terrain of public discourse, the contestation of power in the next elections.
I think because of the impact of social media on the candidacy, for example, of Duterte, I think in the next elections, the political strategists of the candidates will have to figure out how to use social media differently than it was used in this election.
But the question they usually ask is, how has social media changed the world? Pero the other question that some sociologists ask now is how the world has changed social media. Part of it din kasi is the narrative of neoliberalism, di ba? Na there's an increase in terms of individualization, valuing individual voice rather than engagement. So nare-reflect yun in terms of patterns in social media. You have people being very selective in terms of the people they talk to. You have people who just read a particular thread na they're comfortable. So parang the term echo chambers, I think, has been used in a lot of punditry right now. Pero that's just one part of it, because the other part of it is also giving voice to people who didn't have access to the infrastructure of corporate media.